Welcome, dear viewers, to a world where darkness and mysticism meet in the creepiest forms. Here, in this abandoned corner of the internet, we will delve into the darkest corners of the human imagination. Prepare for awe-inspiring horror, as each of our stories is imbued with sinister secrets that lurk in the darkness of the night. Scary stories that remain beyond your imagination are waiting for you on our channel. Don't forget to turn on the lights, get comfortable, and hold on tight, because now we are going into the world of nightmares. Are you ready for it? Then welcome to our scary story.
John and Alice, a couple seeking a fresh start, had recently moved to the quaint town of Blackthorn. They were eager to escape the hustle and bustle of city life, hoping the tranquil countryside would offer their family a peaceful and revitalizing atmosphere. Their family comprised John, a mild-mannered architect with a penchant for history, his wife Alice, a talented artist with an eye for the mysterious, and their two children, Emma, an inquisitive teenager with a passion for literature, and Ben, an imaginative young boy with a love for adventure. One chilly autumn evening, while exploring the local newspaper, Emma stumbled upon an intriguing advertisement. It announced an upcoming auction of antiquities, promising a collection of remarkable historical artifacts. However, one item in particular caught their attention: an ancient mirror with an unusual past. The advertisement described the mirror in cryptic language, hinting at its enigmatic history and captivating allure. It spoke of a massive wooden frame adorned with arcane runes, antique patterns, and puzzling engravings. The mirror's presence at the auction seemed to cast a foreboding shadow, piquing the family's curiosity. The following day, John and Alice found themselves discussing the advertisement over breakfast. The idea of owning a piece of history intrigued them, and they decided to attend the auction to learn more about this mysterious mirror. Emma and Ben were equally excited, envisioning the mirror as a centerpiece for their new home. As the day of the auction approached, anticipation grew within the family. They spent their evenings researching the town's history, hoping to uncover any information about the mirror and its enigmatic past. However, their efforts yielded only fragments of folklore and unsettling tales, leaving them with more questions than answers. Undeterred, the family set off for the auction on a crisp Saturday morning. The auction house, an old Victorian building steeped in history, exuded an air of antiquity. They entered, their breaths visible in the brisk air, and their eyes immediately fell upon the mirror. It stood prominently in the center of the room, shrouded in an eerie, almost ethereal light. The wooden frame, as described, was a work of art, intricately carved with runes and symbols whose meanings remained elusive. Alice, an artist at heart, was drawn to the mirror's mysterious allure, while John was captivated by its historical significance. Emma and Ben stood in awe, their youthful imaginations already spinning tales of adventures that could be seen in the ancient glass. Despite the growing sense of foreboding, they decided to bid on the mirror, unaware of the chilling destiny that awaited them. Little did they know, this ancient mirror held a malevolent secret, one that would soon unravel and cast a dark shadow over their lives. The auction was about to begin, and their fate was inexorably linked to this antique-looking glass. The family's bid proved successful, and they were now the proud owners of the enigmatic antique mirror. The gavel fell, signifying their victory in the auction. However, little did they know that this acquisition would set in motion a series of unsettling events. Excitement and a sense of triumph accompanied them as they transported the mirror to their quaint countryside home. The drive back was filled with chatter about where to place their newfound treasure and how it would complement their home decor. Emma and Ben, in particular, were eager to see how the mirror would add a touch of antiquity to their living room. Upon their return, they carefully positioned the mirror in the designated spot. It was an exquisite addition, its massive wooden frame commanding attention. The runic engravings and ancient designs seemed to come alive under the soft glow of the room's lights. As evening descended and shadows danced across the walls, the family gathered in the living room. John lit the fireplace, its crackling embers casting a warm and comforting ambience. The mirror, now a focal point, caught their gazes with an almost hypnotic allure. The first peculiarities began to manifest subtly. Shadows seemed to play tricks within the depths of the mirror, movements that didn't synchronize with their own. Emma noticed it first, a flicker of movement that sent shivers down her spine. She dismissed it as her imagination. Days turned into nights, and the peculiar occurrences escalated. Lights in the room began to flicker, and soft whispers seemed to emanate from within the depths of the mirror. The family members started to catch glimpses of fleeting reflections that shouldn't have been there. Alice, who spent hours painting in the adjacent room, saw something out of the corner of her eye. Turning swiftly, she noticed a shadowy figure within the mirror, its form elusive and indistinct. Her heart raced as she tried to rationalize the sighting, blaming it on fatigue. John, engrossed in his architectural sketches, was startled as he saw his reflection smiling back at him, despite his own serious expression. The mirror seemed to be distorting reality, playing tricks on their minds. Days turned into restless nights, and the family's collective unease grew. Their once tranquil home now felt like a place shrouded in mystery and apprehension. Emma and Ben began having troubled dreams, their young minds disturbed by the unsettling aura the mirror exuded. The shadows within the mirror grew more pronounced, taking on shapes and movements that defied explanation. The family began to sense an eerie presence, as if someone or something was watching them from behind the glass. Their unease escalated, gnawing at the edges of their sanity. Late one night, as the family gathered for a meal, they noticed something chilling. The mirror reflected an empty chair, and beside it, an ominous silhouette loomed. Panic set in as they turned to the chair, finding it empty in reality. The reflection, however, told a different, haunting story. Fearing the growing darkness that seemed to emanate from the mirror, they decided to cover it, hoping to alleviate the mounting tension. But even as the mirror remained concealed, they couldn't shake the feeling of being observed. The antique mirror had woven its enigmatic threads into their lives, leaving them entangled in a web of fear and uncertainty. Little did they know that the mirror held secrets far more malevolent than they could ever have imagined. The family was now at the mercy of forces beyond their comprehension, and their once idyllic life was about to take a terrifying turn into the unknown. The days that followed the mirror's arrival brought an unsettling transformation within the household. The once harmonious family found themselves caught in a nightmarish dance of emotions and paranoia, each day dragging them further into the depths of an unfathomable abyss. The effects of the mirror on their minds were insidious and relentless. Emotions that were once manageable now surged with an unsettling intensity. Joy was overshadowed by an undercurrent of anxiety, love tinged with suspicion, and laughter tainted by a sense of foreboding. As the mirror's influence grew, it began to magnify the darker aspects of their personalities. John, typically patient and understanding, found himself succumbing to fits of uncharacteristic rage. Alice, known for her compassion and warmth, was consumed by jealousy and irrational fears. Emma, the budding artist, suddenly experienced waves of apathy, her vibrant creativity replaced by a numbness that frightened her to the core. Ben, the adventurous and bold young boy, was now gripped by an unshakable terror that kept him cowering in the corners of his room. Family dinners, once a time of bonding and laughter, now turned into tense confrontations. Every word spoken seemed laced with hidden meanings, and every action was viewed through a lens of suspicion. The once close-knit family was unraveling, torn apart by an unseen force. Their reflections in the mirror became distorted, showing twisted versions of themselves. Mocking grins, malevolent glares, and hauntingly empty eyes stared back at them. It was as if the mirror reveled in their torment, feeding off the chaos it had sown. One fateful night, the nightmare escalated. Emma had been spending hours in front of the mirror, trying to make sense of the shifting shadows and distorted images. Suddenly she gasped and stumbled back, her face contorted with fear. She had seen something or someone within the mirror, something that shouldn't have been there. Frantic, she tried to explain what she had witnessed to her family, but her words came out disjointed and filled with terror. They gathered around the mirror, peering into its depths, but saw nothing unusual. Emma's claim was dismissed as a product of her imagination. Days turned into a haze of mounting fear and paranoia. The mirror's whispers seemed to echo in their minds, weaving a tapestry of delusions and dread. Sleep became a fleeting luxury, replaced by haunting nightmares that felt all too real. Then, in the grip of this suffocating atmosphere, tragedy struck. Ben, in a fit of uncontrolled panic, fled the house. He vanished into the shadows, leaving his family frantic and desperate to find him. They scoured the town, calling his name, but their cries went unanswered. Days turned into an agonizing wait, hope slipping away like sand through their fingers. They searched every corner, every nook and cranny, but there was no sign of Ben. Desperation gave way to a bone-chilling realization. There was something malevolent within their home, and it had claimed one of their own. Fear now held them captive, locking them in a house that had turned into a living nightmare. They were trapped, unable to escape the clutches of the mirror's insidious influence. It whispered promises of release, but they knew it was a path that led only to madness and despair. The family's journey had taken a dark turn, plunging them into the abyss of the unknown. The ancient mirror, once a prized possession, now stood as a malevolent sentinel, presiding over their descent into a realm of horror and madness. The true nature of the mirror was yet to be revealed, and the family would soon face the most harrowing trials of their lives. In the midst of their despair, the remaining family members, Alice and John, sought answers to the malevolent enigma that had engulfed their lives. Their home had transformed into a realm of terror, and they were determined to understand the sinister force that lurked within the antique mirror. They began delving into historical records, tracing the origins of the mirror. What they uncovered sent shivers down their spines. The mirror had a dark and malevolent history, dating back centuries. It had been part of rituals, its maleficent power harnessed for nefarious deeds. Generations of owners had been consumed by the mirror's influence, their lives twisted into grotesque versions of their former selves. The mirror had a thirst for souls, feeding off the fear and anguish of those who fell under its sway. Alice and John were horrified, but they knew that understanding the mirror's origins was the key to breaking its curse. Armed with this knowledge, they mustered the strength to face the mirror once more. They were determined to put an end to this reign of terror. They approached the mirror cautiously, armed with resolve and an incantation they had discovered in their research. The incantation, ancient and powerful, was said to bind and neutralize the mirror's malevolent force. Their voices trembled but gained strength as they recited the words, the incantation resonating through the room. Yet the mirror resisted. Shadows danced within its depths, contorting and resisting the incantation. It fought back with a ferocity that sent chills down their spines. Alice and John strained against the force, pouring all their will into the incantation. In a blinding flash of light, the mirror's resistance faltered. The shadows within its depths screamed and writhed, unable to withstand the power of the incantation. The mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, its malevolent force dissipating into the ether. Exhausted but triumphant, Alice and John surveyed the remnants of the mirror. It was over. The curse had been broken, and they were free from its grasp. Their family would never be whole again, but they would carry the memories of their lost loved ones and the strength to face the darkness. They knew the horrors they had faced would leave scars, but they also knew that they had prevailed. They had stared into the abyss and emerged stronger. The nightmare was finally over. As the sun dawned on a new day, Alice and John made a solemn vow to cherish the memory of their family, to never forget the horrors they had faced, and to stand together in the face of any darkness that may threaten their lives. For they knew that the power of love and unity would always triumph over malevolence, no matter how ancient or insidious.